The fluorescent lights of Gate 27 flickered overhead as Marcus Chen shifted his sleeping daughter's weight against his chest, her tiny fingers clutching the worn fabric of his jacket. His back ached, his eyes burned from 18 hours of delays, and his patience had evaporated somewhere between the third gate change and the announcement that their flight to Seattle would be delayed another 2 hours. Around him, the airport terminal buzzed with the chaos of stranded travelers, businessmen shouting into phones, families sprawled across floor spaces, and the persistent drone of overhead announcements that no one seemed to hear anymore. Marcus had exactly $47 left in his checking account, a maxed-out credit card, and a 4-year-old daughter who believed her daddy could fix anything. Tonight, sitting in this overcrowded terminal with Lily's warm breath against his neck, he wasn't sure he believed it himself anymore. The chairs near their gate had filled hours ago. Marcus had managed to claim a small section of wall, sliding down to sit cross-legged on the industrial carpet while Lily dozed against him. His legs had gone numb 20 minutes ago, but he didn't dare move. Sleep was precious for Lily these days, ever since her mother had walked out 6 months ago, claiming she couldn't handle the struggle anymore, couldn't watch them sink deeper into poverty while Marcus's construction company went bankrupt. "Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?" Marcus looked up, ready to explain that he was technically sitting there himself, when his words caught in his throat. The man standing above him wasn't just any traveler. Even in worn jeans and a simple black sweater, there was something unmistakable about him, the kind of presence that made people turn their heads without knowing why. No, go ahead," Marcus managed, shifting slightly to make room while keeping Lily secure. The stranger nodded gratefully and moved to sit down. What happened next occurred in slow motion and yet all at once. The man misjudged the space in the crowded terminal, and as another passenger rushed past with rolling luggage, he lost his balance. Instead of landing on the floor beside Marcus, he fell directly backward, straight onto Marcus's lap. The impact jarred Lily awake slightly, and Marcus's arms instinctively tightened around her. The stranger froze, his weight pressing down on Marcus's already numb legs. "Oh God, the man started to scramble up. "Don't move," Marcus whispered urgently, his voice low and firm. The stranger went still, confused. Marcus glanced down at Lily, whose eyes had fluttered but hadn't fully opened. "She hasn't slept more than 3 hours straight in weeks," he murmured. "Nightmares. If she wakes up now, we'll be up all night, and we've got another 2-hour delay ahead of us." For a moment, the stranger didn't respond. Then, slowly, carefully, he settled his weight more evenly, trying to minimize the pressure on Marcus while remaining perfectly still. They stayed like that, frozen in the most awkward of positions, while travelers flowed around them like water around stones in a stream. "I'm Alexander, by the way," the man whispered after a moment. "And I'm sitting on you." Despite everything, Marcus felt a laugh bubble up in his chest. "Marcus. And yes, you are. I don't suppose this is how you imagined your evening going." "Right now, nothing goes how I imagine it," Marcus admitted quietly. His arms were starting to shake from holding Lily, and his legs had progressed beyond numbness into a painful tingling. "You can get up. I'll manage." Alexander glanced back at the sleeping child, her face peaceful in a way that spoke of hard-won rest. "How long can you hold her like this?" "As long as she needs." Something shifted in Alexander's expression. Without a word, he carefully maneuvered himself off Marcus's lap and onto the floor beside him. Before Marcus could protest, Alexander had shrugged off his expensive-looking leather jacket and folded it into a makeshift pillow. "Here," he said softly, "let me help." Together, moving with the silent coordination of a practiced team, they gently lowered Lily onto the jacket. She stirred once, mumbled something about butterflies, then settled back into deep sleep. Marcus finally stretched his legs out, wincing as blood flow returned. "Thank you," he breathed. "You didn't have to, that jacket probably costs more than my rent." Alexander waved dismissively. "It's just a thing." He studied Marcus with an intensity that should have been uncomfortable but somehow wasn't. "You're a good father." Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. When was the last time someone had said that? When was the last time someone had seen him as anything other than a man who'd failed at business, failed at marriage, failed at providing the life his daughter deserved? "I'm trying," he said, his voice rougher than intended. "Some days, trying is all I've got." They sat in companionable silence for a while, watching the chaos of the terminal swirl around them. Eventually, Alexander spoke again. Can I tell you something? About why I'm sitting on an airport floor at midnight instead of in the first-class lounge. Marcus nodded. I spent the last 6 months building a deal worth $300 million. Tonight, I closed it. I was heading to the lounge to celebrate with overpriced champagne and probably fall asleep watching the news. Alexander's laugh was hollow. And then I tripped over my own feet and landed on a stranger's lap, and that stranger asked me not to move because his daughter needed sleep more than he needed dignity. Not sure that makes me noble, Marcus said. Just tired. No, Alexander said firmly. It makes you someone who understands what matters. He pulled out his phone, scrolled for a moment, then stopped. What kind of construction did your company do? The question caught Marcus off guard. How did you? Your hands, Alexander said simply. And there's a trade magazine sticking out of your bag. Marcus looked down at his calloused palms, the permanent stains of work that wouldn't wash away. Sustainable building, green materials, energy-efficient designs. I thought I could change how we build things, make it better for the environment and more affordable for families. He laughed bitterly. Turned out being ahead of your time just means going broke before everyone else catches up. Alexander was typing something on his phone, his face illuminated by the blue glow. What if they're catching up now? What? I just closed a deal to develop 15 properties across the Pacific Northwest. Every single one needs to meet new environmental standards that won't be mandatory for another 3 years. Alexander looked up, his eyes sharp with an intensity Marcus was beginning to recognize. I need someone who actually believes in building things the right way, not someone who sees sustainability as a checkbox to mark off. Marcus's heart hammered. Are you offering me? I'm asking if you'd be interested in a conversation. A real one, in an office, with lawyers and contracts and all the things that make business actually happen. Alexander extended his hand. No promises beyond that, but I've learned to trust moments that feel important, and this one does. Marcus stared at the offered hand, afraid to hope, afraid to believe that anything could change this fast, this unexpectedly. Why? You don't know me. For all you know, my company failed because I'm terrible at my job. Maybe, Alexander agreed. Or maybe it failed because you were trying to do the right thing in a system that wasn't ready for it yet. He gestured around the terminal. 2 hours ago, I was the man who'd just made $300 million. Now I'm the guy sitting on a dirty airport floor because a single dad taught me what actually matters. So yeah, I want to have a conversation. Because I have a feeling you see the world in a way I need on my team. Lily stirred then, her eyes blinking open in that confused way of children waking in unfamiliar places. Daddy. Right here, butterfly, Marcus murmured, smoothing her hair. We're still at the airport. But I think maybe, his voice caught, I think maybe things are going to be okay. She smiled sleepily and burrowed against his side. I had a good dream. Marcus met Alexander's eyes over his daughter's head, and in that moment, something passed between them. An understanding that sometimes the universe arranges its accidents with purpose, that sometimes falling down leads to getting back up stronger than before, that sometimes a stranger's kindness can rewrite the entire trajectory of a life. Me too, sweetheart, Marcus whispered. Me too.